Given the directions to expand the following logs, we're going to do 7 practice problems on expanding. So for number 1, I'm going to give you the log base 3 of 6x to the y. So the first thing I want you to note is that they are being multiplied. So you need to think of what property. This is going to be the product property. So the product property states I'm going to take all the parts, the 6, the x, and y that are being multiplied, and I'm going to write them as 3 logs, since there's 3 parts, being added to one another. And this is going to be your answer. I'm going to say log base 3 of 6 plus log base 3 of x plus log base 3 of y. And that's going to be your final answer. Alright, our second example, number 2. If I gave you log base 6 of 36x squared. Now this one has 2 properties in it. It has the power property because the x has an exponent of 2, and 36 is being multiplied, which is the product property, with the 36 and the x squared. So go ahead, try this problem, and then pause, and then I'm going to show you the answer. Alright, so when we expand this log function, since we are multiplying 36 times x squared, the first thing that I'm going to do is write log base 6 of 36 plus log base 6 of x squared. So now, if you can do this all in one step, that's fantastic. But now I'm going to fly down the 2. And I'm going to make this one log, 2 times log of 6, base 6 of x. Now, look at this one, this first part, a little bit closer. The point of expanding logarithms is even though it seems like it's getting bigger, you can still simplify them. Well, this one can be simplified. This was a problem that I've given to you before when we were just evaluating them. Can you tell me what 6 to something is that gives you 36? It's 2. So log base 6 of 36 becomes 2. So in your final answer, you have 2 plus 2 log base 6 of x. Alright, number 3. Log base 3 of x squared times y. Again, go ahead and try this, and then pause it, and then see if you get it correct. So like the other one, I have 2 parts. I have x squared times y. So I'm going to write this as log base 3 of x squared plus log base 3 of y. And then the last thing you need to recognize is this exponent needs to fly down in the front. So your final answer is 2 times log base 3 of x plus log base 3 of y. Now, unlike the last problem, number 2, that we just did, you cannot simplify this. There's no way you can evaluate with an x and y being 2 unknowns in your final answer. Number 4. Alright, so try number 4. Log base 3 of x divided by 4. So this is the quotient property. Now, and if you remember in the notes and what I said, you're going to have a subtraction problem. So you're going to have log base 3 of x minus log base 3 of 4. Remember I said whatever is in the denominator is the log that is being subtracted, that has that negative or the subtraction sign right in front of it. And then you're going to ask yourself, can I simplify either of these parts? And you can. We can't simplify this one right here because of that x, and then 3 to some fraction that we don't know yet gives you 4. So you're only looking for whole answers when you simplify. Alright, number 5. Log of a squared b cubed over c to the 4th. Now note, I didn't tell you the base, so it's understood that the base is 10. Again, if I don't write it, you don't have to write it, or you can write in 10 if you would like. try this problem and then check your answer. This problem has multiple parts. The first part that I notice is up top I have a multiplication problem, and then I have this division problem. So this is how it goes. So you're going to do log of a to the second plus log b to the third. And since I said before this c to the fourth is in the denominator, which means we're then going to subtract log of c to the fourth. And the last thing to check again is these powers right here. They're all going to fly down in front, so your final answer is going to be 2 log a plus 3 log b minus 4 log c. Okay, number 6. Log of 2x over y all to the 5th power. The important part of this problem to note is that this 5 needs to fly down, and it's going to fly down in front of this whole log because this is the whole base that holds it up. This is what I mean. I'm going to fly the 5 down first, and then you can rewrite log of 2x divided by y and then work on your inside. So like the last one, we have a 2 times x divided by y. So it's going to be 5, and then I'm going to have log of 2 plus log of x minus y. Minus log of y. Just like before, but now we have this 5 in front. And the very last thing that you need to do is, I do ask that you distribute this 5. Expand it all the way out, so your final answer is 5 log 2 plus 5 log x minus 5 log y. The reason why I asked you to distribute that 5 is in case there's any other number in front of these logarithms, you would then multiply it by 5 and then get a simplified answer. Okay, so number 7 is kind of a challenging problem. Log base 8 of 8 times the square root of 3a to the 5th. Go ahead, see how far you can get with this problem, and then check your answers. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is separate this log base 8 of 8. Then I'm going to multiply it, so now that means when I expand my logs it's going to be plus log base 8 of the square root of 3a to the 5th. Now, since we haven't done anything with square roots, you need to remember that the square root is the same thing as taking 3a to the 5th to the 1/2 power. So this becomes log base 8 of 3 times a to the 5th to the 1/2 power. Okay, so since now we have an exponent instead of the radical, we can use the log property and take this exponent and fly it down in front. So this log base 8 gets to carry along, and then I have 1/2 log base 8 of 3 plus, because this is the product rule in here, or product property, plus log base 8 of a to the 5th. Now again, one more time, we have this a to the 5th needs to fly down. So we get log base 8 of 8 plus 1/2 log base 8 of 3. And now I'm going to distribute this 1/2 knowing that the 5 is going to be there. So I'm going to have 5 over 2 log base 8 of a. Now, you're going to reevaluate this final answer. It's all expanded, and then you're going to tell yourself right here, this is the inverse property. Log base 8 of 8. So 8 to the what gives you 8? Well, this simplifies. I'm sorry, this is not the inverse property. This is just us evaluating log base 8 of 8. So a to the what gives you 8. 1. A to the 1 gives you 8, so that can be simplified, and then you have 1 plus right in front.